On its third year, in '82, the Jazz Festival had a tremendous success the year before, and we had finally little grants and a bit of sponsorship. So we were able to improve the programming. We had 300 musicians, and then we were really with the programming that was comparable to Montreal or New York, Newport. And we had already, through our television broadcast, an international renown, and we brought international journalists. So the festival moved on Saint Denis Street for the first time. There was a lot of free concerts in the clubs, a lot of free concerts also with local musicians in the Old Port. So we started really to be a springboard for local musicians. We created a jazz label. We recorded albums with Vic Vogel and Michel Donato, and also L'Orchestre Sympathique. It was done together with CBC. And we created the prize, the award that we gave each year since, for a local group, a Canadian group. And it was the first one by Michel Donato then. So the programming was exceptional. We had, for the opening, we had Maynard Ferguson, the Montreal player that moved to LA since a long time. But the closing show was historical and was recorded for television. It was Miles Davis. And it was the return of Miles Davis with a new format. And at the Saint Denis Theatre, everybody that was there, it was at midnight, I think, it will remember forever. And we had a classy programming with a lot of artists playing for the first time in Montreal, like Betty Carter. We had Sonny Rollins. We had Sonny Terry and Ronnie McGee with Willie Dixon, and they didn't speak to each other anymore. And Ronnie McGee was always changing keys, and Sonny Terry was blind, had to change the harmonica. And it did a good show because the stress was there. And it was the discovery of Wynton Marsalis. André Menard had seen him in New Orleans. He played with the Jazz Messenger with Art Blakey, and he did his first recording. He was like 20. And it was his first television recorded to document that tremendous talent. We had Buddy Rich, we had, again, Gary Burton, Jaco Pastorius, Pat Metheny, he was playing almost every year at the time, and Ornette Coleman. We had only one problem, Dexter Gordon, who canceled on the day of the show. And it was supposed to be recorded for TV, so it's very expensive. The camera were ready at the Saint Denis Theatre. So we find a replacement, but it was amazing. I knew that Gary Burton and Chick Corea were playing the night before in Moscow, and they were on the way back on the plane from Moscow to Paris. So I arranged with the manager that in Paris, somebody would tell them, you don't take the plane for New York, you take a plane for Montreal, and you play right from the airport, taxi, on stage, and the show was recorded for TV. They did it. They were friends of the festival, and it was a great show.